worked out, Facebook and YouTube are going to sound pretty bad. So we're just going to leave it, let it go, and encourage people to come over to Zoom. And so, like I said, encourage anybody and everybody to come over to Zoom. And that's where we will have our party. All right, we'll get started in just a couple minutes.
Good morning. Good to see you. Like your new setup here.
Oh, you've not seen this?
No, well, no, I haven't been here in 2 weeks. It must feel much better. You guys are.
Yes, we have,
They can breathe.
everything has to shift.
Yes, all the time. All the time.
But you're gonna get it right, and it appears that it's getting better.
Oh, it looks great. It looks great.
Appearances,
Can be deceiving.
I wasn't going to say it.
We're working on
Is
it.
that what you didn't want to say?
So can Zoomers hear us?
Raise your hand, all right. Okay,
Good
good.
to see you, Dorette. Good to see you.
Michael
Cindy
and
Debbie,
Maxine.
Andre, Mary, Sheila.
Can't quite see all the names from here. But good to see you all. And again, encourage anybody who is, and have you hit the stream button, Riley?
Already hit it, we're good.
Okay, so we should be on Zoom. So on Zoom and Facebook, just encourage everybody to go to Zoom. Excuse me, on Facebook and YouTube, encourage everybody to go to Zoom because the quality there is not going to,
It's not going to be good.
no, it's not going to work. Hello. Good to see you, precious. All right. We'll get started here in just a moment. Let it flow. Let it flow. Let it flow.
Good to see Lisa on and Jackie and many more.
Now, I'm looking for John
Maxine?
and Evelyn.
They're not on yet.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so when they get on, make them co-host.
Yeah.
And all right, so we are recording off of Zoom, and our intention is to, are we recording? I don't see it recording. It's not recording.
I'm gonna make my way around. There we go. All right, we're good.
All right, so we're going to be recording off of Zoom today because it has been challenging to get YouTube and Facebook up and running.
And I don't know if you want to deal with this, but it says scheduled for October 11, which is 3 days from now. It does say Sunday on it.
Yeah, they all say that.
Okay. Let's try again.
All right, so how is everybody? Anybody got anything they want to share? We've been gone for 3 weeks, 2 Sundays, I guess. But thank you, Tom and Diane, and all of you for filling in and for doing
There
a
we
wonderful
go.
job. Love, love, love the fact that we have people that are stepping in. So thank you. Thank you very much. All right, so again, we're going to encourage everybody on YouTube and Facebook. If you're watching, encourage you to go over to Zoom. Make sure you put the Zoom number in there because we cannot get the technical glitches worked out in order to get Facebook and YouTube to sound
One of these
Good.
days.
one of these days. Is that another Beatles song? Something close to that, huh?
Hopefully in this age we'll get it.
Hopefully in this age we will get it dialed in. Oh. All right, so I don't even know where we're beginning. It's like I haven't done this for 3 weeks,
Are
2
we-
weeks.
We're out of
2 weeks.
practice? Is
Yeah.
that what you're saying?
We're out of practice.
Hey, good to see
Eric!
Eric.
We have Eric, and did Mindy make it with you?
She did not today, no, she had a rough night.
Okay,
That's okay.
But Eric and Mindy have moved here, and very excited to have them here as well. So we got Keith and Trina that moved here, Eric and Mindy, and the community is growing. And thankfully, help is on the way. We'll get all this worked out. Okay, so are we ready, hon?
We can be.
We can be. Again, one more time, Facebook, YouTube, go over to Zoom, because I know the sound on Facebook and YouTube is not going to be working well. So join us over on Zoom. So we're going to be talking today about just family conversations. While we were on the journey that we just took, the 3-week journey, we had a lot of conversations. And it was really evident that, in the conversation, we do need to be aware of who's around. Because when you're in a family and you have small children around, there are certain things you don't talk about, right? Because they're not ready to hear what you are talking about sometimes. And so that's just one of the things that we, became very aware of while we were on the journey. But yet the conversations have to happen. And we're going to make mistakes along the way. Because where I might draw the line and say this is not appropriate for this group, someone else might draw the line in a different place. And we have to have grace and mercy for one another as we're going through this. So we're going to be changing at some point, hopefully between now and, I'm going to say the end of January. Is that okay?
Sure.
All right. So sometime between now and the end of January, we will be kind of moving into that round table that I talked about, the sons of the one table. And when we do that, we're going to be inviting all of you to come up. There's going to be open seats that will invite you to come and join the conversation. There'll be people, just like we do now with Zoom, we'll do that the same way. Might have some guest speakers that would come in as well. But we want to have conversations. So Dean and I might still lead in what's the topic going to be. So today we're going to talk about family conversations. But the whole point is that we have a conversation, and it's just not Adina and I speaking the whole time. So that's why we have the mic here. We encourage you to come up. The Zoomers, we encourage you to just go ahead and speak up when you have something to share. And it's important. All of us have been in conferences, and you get the download, the inspiration as the speaker is speaking, and you realize, man, that's such a cool revelation. And yet the rest of the group doesn't ever get to hear it because it's only given to you, and you weren't given the opportunity to share it. We want to make sure that you have the opportunity to share whatever you're getting. So, again, don't be shy. This is the body, and we want everybody to speak up.
That's right. All right.
Okay, so one last time, and then we're jumping in, okay? If you're on Facebook or YouTube, really encourage you to move over to Zoom because we know the sound is not good on Facebook and YouTube, and there's just not anything we can do about it right now. So pray for us so we can get this worked out. All right. Worship team, take it away. We encourage you to share whatever it is that the Father gives to you as we engage with Him.
Just feeling the Father calling us to a higher place. In the world right now, and particularly in the United States, there's just a lot of stress, anxiety, contention, chaos. But we can rise above that and enter into that shalom and bring that shalom into the earth.
Father is vying for your time right now because so many are so focused on what's going on in the country that their energy and their meditation time, even though they may not call it meditation, their meditations are on what's going on in the world and in this country rather than on Him. And He's saying, get your focus back on me. Focus on what Father's doing. Because if something's happening here, you either have one of two different beliefs. Either you believe Father has lost control, or either you need to step into line with what He's doing. Think about that.
So just feel the Father lifting you higher, drawing you into His heart, into the fullness of His presence, where there is joy unspeakable, full of glory.
that again, Maxine. Sense of the
The scent.
fragrance of vanilla. Thank you.
It's good. Thank you, Maxine.
It's good. Mm.
So good.
It's good.
Thank you.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah, in a lot of cases, it's us.
I love cinnamon
Vanilla
rolls.
frosting on top.
I'm right with you, Maxine.
It's good.
Thank you, Anne. Yes.
I feel like what the Father's cooking up is a lot of comfort food. I think a lot of people need comfort. And here's the reason why. Because of so many prophetic words, so many things were spoken, and some of them are yet to be, we don't know how they're going to come out. But when we put our expectations into those things, instead of an expectancy upon the Father, we set ourselves up for possible disappointment. And we need to learn to understand the Father is a good, good God. And He is in control. He is not out of control. He has not let things slip by that He wasn't aware of. This is not our God. And that when we understand that we can just live with an expectancy of good things. Will there be challenges? Absolutely. That's how we grow. But it's in our response to those challenges that we grow well or we struggle to get through. Focus on what the Father's doing. Flow with what He's doing. Don't let prophetic words that I guarantee you many of them are wrong. They just can't all be right. It's impossible. So I'm telling you, have an expectancy to watch what the Father's doing and know that He's got good things lined up for you.
Or they've been interpreted wrong. It's another way to look at it, or it's another perspective. Just continue to feel the Father drawing you higher and higher, above everything.
So good. Encourage any of you on Zoom to go ahead and just speak up if you have something you want to share. Yes. Yes. Mm. Yes. If you've just tuned in to Facebook or YouTube, we encourage you to go over to Zoom because we realize the sound is not good on Facebook and YouTube right now. We apologize for that. We can't get that dialed in right now, so please just move over to Zoom and join us there. line is two fish in the water. So you could see that there was a birthing process in the water that was taking place, that the sons were being birthed. But as we are maturing, we step out of the water. We rise above the water into the age of Aquarius, or the age of the kingdom, where we begin to restore kingdom. And when we are able to rise up out of the one age and step into the other, we will begin to get the downloads and the new revelation that the Father has for us as we move forward. We have to be willing to step out of the previous age if we want to step into the fullness of what Father has for us now.
Just feeling so much joy and excitement. This is an amazing time to be alive. I believe that you chose to come during this time. So if you are feeling distraught about the chaos, you need to get a different perspective.
Yes.
Because you came here for such a time as this.
Amen.
You came here to bring the love and power and light of the Father into the cosmos at this time. So be encouraged, be excited, be joyful.
Yes. Joy of the Lord is our strength.
I'm hearing that we are the free.
Yes. That's very good.
Thank you, Sheila. Yes.
Good. Otto? Okay.
It says, keep praying, keep standing.
Good.
It says, keep praying, keep standing.
By now, if you're not already doing so, we need to be learning that we're up there seated with Christ in heavenly places already. We don't leave that place, but that our focus would be there more than it is here, that our perspective would be more from that angle than from this angle. Yeah. Yes. It's good. Good, Trina.
And I just saw a picture. I'm pretty sure it was either ocean or the sea of glass that Jesus was just walking along, and it was just an invitation for us to walk alongside of him, and it was just super peaceful and just be, and not all the things that get distorted because we don't really know what the truth is other than Jesus is the truth.
Yeah. And if you didn't notice, Trina's already speaking to us from the heavenly realm. That's why you couldn't see her.
do with rest. And it's just a sense I had is knowing his family just resting while the swamp was getting drained.
That's so good. Thank you, Nance. Good to see you. We choose that rest. Embraced in the arms of Father.
Yes.
Thank you.
I would like to share how much more powerful I feel after repenting for making Trump an idol and
Yes.
putting my eyes on this political system to bring justice and change things. That my eyes were focused on the wrong thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because it's God. It doesn't matter who is in the office. The things I've seen in the last 2 months, it really doesn't matter. Because when he rolls up his sleeves and makes up his mind, he is able.
Yes.
Nothing can stand in his way.
Man is nothing but man.
Yeah.
Even a chosen man. He can use any man he desires. And there's nothing that's going to stop it.
Amen.
Yeah. And we'll be having more in just a few minutes, but that's so good, Sheila. Thank you.
I sense Father saying, I'm teaching my eagles to fly today.
It's good. Yeah.
Yes. So good. Thank you, Debbie.
I guarantee that as we release those expectations of what we thought was supposed to happen, or what we think is going to happen, and that we walk with an expectancy of knowing that Father is in control. It's a dualistic mindset that thinks that there's an enemy out there so powerful that he can overcome our God. That's dualism. It's not our God. Our God is the only power, the only power. And he reigns and he rules from on high. Nothing can get in his way. So as we release those expectations and we begin to flow with what he's doing, In that flow, we will learn to grow, to become everything we're called to be. But we're not the ones in control. He is. We have to let go of those areas where we want control or think we have control in order to flow. You can't flow down a lazy river if you're holding onto the bank. If you're holding onto the sides, you can't flow. Let go so Father can take you where He wants to take you.
So good, and in a few moments we'll be shifting into communion and to giving time, and I have the sense that some of us may be communing on eagle's wings. Some of us may be taking communion in the cream. There may be other places that you engage, but just ask Father, where is your place of communion today?
So if you want to go ahead and gather the elements and get ready for communion time, I'll give you some time to do that. And I just feel like today, as we give, we're giving into our sonship. And I don't know the full ramification of that, but just encourage you that as you're giving, it's something very significant. You're trading into your sonship, into stepping into that higher level, into allowing the Lord to mature you into the fullness of who you are as a son. So if you're here locally, we have a box by the communion. If you're online, encourage you, either kingdomequippingcenter.com and the donate button, or Kingdom Equipping Center and the partners button. Trade KingdomTalksMedia.com.
Yes.
Partnership
trade
button.
Into your sonship today.
Mm-hmm. So we've talked a lot about, or I have talked a lot about, moving from the place of dependence and through independence into interdependence. Where in the interdependence, we are maturing, stepping into responsibilities, stepping into who we fully are, understanding the fullness of the oneness that Father has for each and every one of us, that we are one together, and that when we partake of communion in this age, we are taking part of the oneness. We are engaging with His oneness. We are stepping in. We are committing and submitting ourselves deeper and deeper into that oneness. And it builds off of the foundation of the intimacy. That intimacy cannot come without spending time in the heavens with Him. So as we walk with that foundation of intimacy and love, knowing who we are, and we step into the places of responsibility, where we begin to look around to see, where's my ecclesia? Where's my place in the body? Where do I fit in? Where's my tribe? Where am I going to be committing myself and submitting myself to be one with the body, to where being one together, we will accomplish so much more than I ever could on my own. But understanding the power of the oneness, power of the body, each and every person doing their part. So as we take this bread today, again, it is a commitment and a submission into a relationship with an ecclesia, a body. And the body may be here, it may be part of what we're doing right now. But asking the Father, in my new level of maturity, what are the responsibilities that you're going to be giving to me? It's not a striving thing, it's not trying to measure up. It's simply walking further and further into who you are. It's a place of joy, it's a place of rest. But it's a place where you get to use the gifts, talents, resources, skills that He has given to you so that His kingdom can be built in the earth. If you're ready to make that step, then go ahead and take and eat.
And if you're willing, today is a deeper day to step into a new level of sonship. And as we take this cup, it's this commitment to enter in to the fellowship of His suffering, that we may experience His resurrection power. That the fullness of everything that He went through and everything that He is becomes a part of us as we manifest the fullness of His glory, His body and His blood. So if you're ready for that, take the cup.
Just meditate on that for a moment. Let that shift, the decision that you just made, let that shift, let that choice shift you into the next level. We no longer have an enemy that we have to listen to. He can yell and scream whatever he wants to, but you have all power and authority over him. He has nothing over you. We are stepping up, we're stepping in, we're stepping over. Because we are overcomers.
Yes.
We get to choose the path we want to take. And we are choosing the path that unites us as one with Father, Son, Holy Spirit, and one another.
Yes. Receive the fullness of who Father says you are. Maybe take a moment to engage with your perfected self, who you really are, full and complete, to give you courage for whatever you're facing in the natural right now.
see the Father going around to each and every one of us, and He's handing you a page of your scroll. It's a piece of your scroll. It's not anything new, but it's something He wants you to be aware of. He's highlighting it, so He's brought it out into its own separate scroll. And in that scroll is the understanding of the power that you carry, that you are powerful. You can choose to say no to the thoughts that the enemy wants to put in your heart and your mind. You are powerful. Christ has already overcome these things, therefore you have as well. But to start walking it out, to believe it, to know it, to walk in the fullness of the fact that you're the one that has the power. The darkness has nothing over you, only what you give it. So stop giving him any power and walk in the fullness of who you are. That scroll is a very special scroll that will change your life. So take that thing and put it into your heart. Understand it, know it, live it. And if you receive that, you are set free.
Yes.
Free indeed. Anybody have anything they'd like to share? Go ahead.
What I have to share is a sound. So this is the sound. And that, as my wife Hannah has pointed out, is the tension of what is and what is to come.
Yes.
That's good.
Love
We
that.
have to live in the tension. So I guess that's the sound.
That's good.
It's good. Thank you.
I was just seeing that the scrolls, inside the scrolls were like an aerial view map of territories that belong to us, and were being released as we stepped into the greater level of sonship.
It's good. Thank you,
Thank
Lisa.
you. Thank you.
I can confirm that and also add some detail. I see 3 groups emerging. One group is still gaining their footing and figuring the lay of the land. The second group is ready to go to the stables and be given their spiritual course, and then to go to the war room for their weapons. The third group already has their armor, their steed, and some of their weapons. And if you heard the call, and it could have been that first sound we heard, to go back to the war room and ask if your chariot is ready. And if you're ready ready for your chariot. And get the instructions. And there will be a group of charioteers.
That's very good. Thank you, Sheila. Anyone else?
Chariots are not necessarily horses. They are all living creatures. So you could be riding on a lion, you could be riding on an eagle, you could be riding on Jesus, the man, and you could be riding on the lamb. So it is not just horses.
That's good. Thank you.
I want to say something. Yesterday when I was in my room around between 3 and 4 o'clock in the afternoon, they came some identity put too much pressure on myself, and it's about like be scared, and I was thinking, what is happening? And I started to ask God, what is happening? What is happening? But it was really strong, like be pushing me. It's put away. And I start to ask God, please can you send angels to take away all these things and put them there where it belonged? And the fight they continues doing until like middle of the night. And when I feel rest and I feel peace after this work that I have, and when I wake up in the morning, I start and seeing my room come out like yellow and white, and I was thinking a couple minutes ago what happened in that moment, and they can like we put the eyes on the wrong people, because the freedom for this country and for the world, they come for us, because we are one with God, and we need to put all these identities in the place where it belongs. And we win.
Yes. Thank you, Irma. We agree. Luke says, the drinking of the cup of communion and of the blood of Yahweh is the drink of remembrance of our genesis and origin in the before the beginning. Yes.
And sorry, the chariot, the ox is very awesome, very powerful.
That's good.
So do you want to ask, on Zoom, is the sound coming through okay? Just get a raise of hand, okay, thumbs up, okay. And then on YouTube and Facebook, we still have quite a few people on there. I'm curious if the sound is good or not, because I was under the impression it was not good. So if someone could just make a note and let us know. We're going to go ahead and shift over to just having a conversation. And we invite everyone to join in, just as we did with the worship time and the engagement time. We invite you to step in with us. And when inspired, when Father gives you something, please let the rest of us know. We will not have as much understanding of the subject if you don't share what the Father's given to you. Okay?
And there's
everyone good? Thumbs up? Yeah? All right.
A couple of things to share before we get started in that is just, this is an exciting week, and if you don't know why, no, it doesn't have anything to do with the election, but we're having an amazing conference, and it's coming up quickly.
So, 15 speakers, including Nancy Cohen, Mike Parsons, Chris Carter. Who are some of the others that...
Paul Young.
Yeah, Paul Young, writer of The Shack,
Strong.
author of The Shack, Lindy Strong.
Karina Bataki, Nina Hayden, Larry McKnight.
And Steve Hampton and Brian Culpepper. Anyway, great lineup. And I don't know of any other conference that's had this many people. So it's been a little bit of a challenge to get everything together. So we appreciate all of you who have been supporting us. And we still obviously need some more help to get all this worked out. So be praying for us, and in whatever way you could support us, that would be awesome, so that we can maybe make some changes of some equipment that we need to get a hold of to make all this work well and right. So,
And the big thing we want you to know is we are family. This is about family. And so you could be looking at the price right now and go, there is no way, I just can't do that. You might have already said that. And we just want to say we don't want people to be left out because of finances, because that's not family. And so if you would contact us, let us know what you can trade into the conference, and we will work that out. We want to make sure that everybody who Father is calling to be there can be there.
and just, I want to make sure everybody understands, because maybe some of you haven't heard this before, but when we launched Ultimate Impact, we put down like 7 or 8 different price points, everything from $30 a month all the way down to zero, nothing. You could take it for free. We had a lot of people that took it for free, and then there were different increments of where people bought in. Guess who did the most with it? The ones who paid $30 a month. They're the ones that put the most into it. The ones who took it for zero, this is not stretching the truth at all. Those who took it for zero, and we can see which lessons they've completed, basically did zero. They did not value it at all, and therefore they did nothing with it. So we value what we've put together. The Father has told us to value things, to place a value on them, but wherever possible, we will work with everybody, but the value is still there. So the conference, if you haven't seen, the conference price is $299, and that's 15 speakers over 6 days. I don't know where you could ever go to a conference for $300 and get that much. You're probably going to pay $500 to $1,500 for a conference like that if you actually went to it. And so this is the first time we're doing it online to give you a taste of all these different people. We want you to hear what they have to say. We believe that God is releasing something in this season in order for us to step higher and higher into the age that we've already moved into. We're going to need the tools. We're going to need the resources. We're going to need the understanding of how do we operate in this new age that we've stepped into. And that's what's going to be happening at this conference.
This is going to be different than other conferences in that it's going to be interactive. We've asked the speakers to do it kind of like a short TED Talk, 15, 20 minutes, and then an activation or Q&A, so that it stays active and is involved. You might be going, well, I don't have 6 days off. I can't do that. And that's okay. You will have access to
all the recordings.
All of the recordings, yes.
So, hope that helps. Explain it. And again, if there's some out there that want to sponsor other people, that would be wonderful, because this conference has not been cheap. And it's required a lot more equipment than we thought. So anyway, it's all good. Father knows what's going on, and he's the one that has led us down this path, and this path is a character-building path for everybody.
So Chad says, I saw the Lord equipping us, but several didn't like how they looked. They were trying to fix their appearance. He says, God is trustworthy and everything he does is good. Continue to commune with the Comforter during this next season. Otherwise, it will be very uncomfortable. Make sure you bask in the available grace. That is so good. Thank you, Chad. And he says, pray to see what he sees.
Yeah, it's good. Okay.
Then we're family. So I know
We
some
are.
of you,
Husband, wife.
we are family. And I know some of you would like to know about our 6-week excursion, 3-week excursion. We had such an amazing time, and what I love about the travel is being able to see in person, get beyond the screen, and be able to give many of you a hug. We got to see so many people across the country on our journey to South Carolina, where we had a small private retreat with Chris Carter, and we're part of his board. That was amazing. And we actually did take a couple days off, for those of you who know that we need that. We went to Key West, Florida. That was one of Gil's dreams.
Bucket list. Bucket list item.
Do some scuba diving. And then we had an amazing immersion retreat in Orlando, Florida area, one of our biggest ones so far, but we decided, I think we're going to keep it
20 or under, I think,
Yeah.
is a good number. It was a blast. It was absolutely awesome. It was just as good as any of the others. there wasn't enough time to connect with everybody there. So that was
On a personal level,
yeah.
And then we spent 3 days in Mississippi being pampered at a wellness center there that was
Called The
just
Land?
amazing, yeah.
Yeah, with Brian Culpepper and
Cindy
Cindy Culpepper. Yeah.
And so
Recommend that highly if you are looking for that type of thing.
Yeah. And just to also let you know some things that are coming up in February 14 to 21, we're looking to expand the immersion retreat idea, and we're going to be calling it Restoration Encounters. And it will be 7 days, and so our first one will be here, February 14 to 21. And so be looking for that, and that's going to be more interactive. We'll give you time that you can go up to Nancy Cohen's Wellness Center and experience that. We'll be going out to do things, Garden of the Gods, different places to just encounter
Experiencing and
nature.
encountering nature, yeah.
We'll do one in the summer too, and it's kind of an experiment to go, okay, how do we interact with God and with creation in the wintertime when it's cold? And so that might be a little tough for some of us.
Ski.
And then we will do one in the summer as well. And Chris Carter will be coming for that. Brian and Cindy Culpepper will be coming, and you've got to meet them. They're just fantastic. Now, we will keep that to 20 people, and I think we're already, even though we haven't announced it publicly, and we haven't even gotten the forms out or anything, we're already probably half full. So if you're interested in that, we want to...
Let us know ASAP. Okay, can we get into our topic?
Okay.
So, again, this is so important for each and every one of you to share what you're getting, okay? So even if you, while we were just sharing some things, if you have anything you want to add that the Father's given to you or that you have, we have a different concept of, the inspirational download is awesome. That's, God speaking to us. But you have to also remember you are a partaker of the divine nature. And sometimes you think, oh, that's just me. Yeah, that's good. You're a partaker of the divine nature. Let's hear it. Don't be shy, okay? So anybody on Zoom or anywhere that wants to share anything before we jump in?
I have a comment?
Yeah.
Sure.
Go ahead, John.
I see Otto has his hand raised, so I was wondering if he's has a comment.
I do note that as Gil and Adina were in Key West, that last week we talked about the keys of David.
Oh, wow.
And that the interpretation I got was that David means beloved, so it was the key of the beloved.
Mm.
Wow.
And you were in Key West, or in the Florida Keys.
Love that. I love how Father puts things together. Okay, so go ahead.
All right, so obviously we're looking at family conversations, and the very first part of that is probably most everybody, unless you're living under a rock, is probably thinking about, talking about the elections. And we just want to kind of lay a foundation. I was listening to someone today who I believe is a believer, but probably not a Christian. And he said the most profound things about the election. And he said, if you have chosen a side, you are already part of the problem. And he said, if we cannot have unconditional love and walk that out, then we're not where we need to be. And so it was so amazing to have this person who probably would not consider themselves, I don't know, but just so profoundly speaking the word of the Lord for this season. It really impacted me. And so whatever we share, and I appreciated what Sheila shared earlier about repenting for, the focus on Trump, is yes, we have different beliefs and opinions, but ultimately it comes down to, Father, we want your will, and we want to do what you're doing, and we want to love. This situation is giving us an opportunity to up our level of unconditional love. that we can love anybody and everybody regardless of beliefs, that we can love perpetrators, that we can love people who are doing evil. And that's what Father has called us to do. It doesn't mean we're going to sweep things under the rug. I do believe Father is exposing things in this season, but he's exposing it for us to bring restoration and love. And we have to have that perspective.
And that's the thing that Father, and I shared this earlier already, but when, kind of watching the elections, and honestly, we didn't pay that much attention this time around, as we did last time. But as we were watching and seeing some things, and I'm looking, and I'm thinking, Father, what's going on? And he immediately said, you've got your focus in the wrong place. As I'm looking at who's going to get elected, and again, you can get so tied up. I don't feel like I was as tied up in who I felt should be elected. I have my opinion, my thoughts, and who I voted for, but at the same time, I'm going to accept what happens, and I'm going to be asking Father, now what? Now what do you want me to do? How do I participate with you in what you're doing, rather than just taking my own will, my own desires, and doing that? We need to be stepping into the heavens to see what the Father's doing. This is kind of exposed, really exposed, the difference between those who are just going after what they think is right because, of whatever value system they hold, versus going into the heaven and saying, Father, what are you doing? And how do you want me to respond? What do you want me to do? Because I almost guarantee you that it's going to be at least a little bit different, if not a whole lot different, than what you might think. We've got to be seeing what Father's doing.
And it was just interesting. We were with some people over this last 3 weeks, and it was someone who doesn't pay attention to politics at all. She stays in a place of peace and rest. But so she actually muscle tests who to vote for, looking at the ballot and then going by muscle testing. I thought, well, that was unique. I've never heard that before. But, I want to say that each one of us are called to different areas. Some of us are called to be in the political realm, to bring light, to bring love, and to bring Father's goodness. And so there is a place for people being involved in that realm. So we're not saying, everybody just, forget what's going on and just, whatever. Everybody has a different place and a different part. But we must operate from the fullness of unconditional love to everyone. And that's the test.
Good. All right. Inspirations and downloads, come on. This isn't just us telling everybody anything. It's the body. Alan.
I'm not sure this is inspiration, but I'm just going to be a little bit vulnerable, and it has to do with the exposure that we've already talked about. I thought that, I was fairly confident about what was going to happen in the election, and going into that, I was thinking, well, I'm really good either way. Like, me personally, I will be okay. And I realized that there was a lot of junk in me that I didn't know was there, and a lot of stuff that that I have to deal with and had to deal with and still do. And I found myself all week just watching news, like trying to almost like get comfort from like, okay, what's going to happen next? Maybe something's going to happen that's going to make me feel better, and realizing that that's really not going to be a good source for that. For that. And so, yeah, Adina, you talked about how, there are things that are going to be exposed, and I feel like, at least for me, a lot of what's being exposed is within me.
Yeah. That is so good, and appreciate you being vulnerable on that. I think probably many of us have walked through that when what we expected to happen didn't. And so really Father is doing so much in us, and that's really what it's about, is we do have to first deal in here. It's easy to point out other people's issues and stuff and go, oh, they believe that, that's not good, that's bad, But when we start with this and go, okay, Father, search me. Where have I been judging? Where have I been condemning? Where have I been putting myself and my beliefs up on a pedestal above others? And it's been interesting is that the last two immersion retreats that we've been at, we've had at least one or two people who we would say was on a different, place politically. And so it encouraged us to continue to walk in the love that we already had for them, and to watch what we say. Because sometimes when you get in a group of people in one belief system,
Groupthink goes a long way.
and we can say some things that we're not realizing what we're saying.
So, and the other thing is, I encourage you to sit down with somebody who has a different viewpoint and to actually have a conversation and listen to them. I did that several times at the retreat and learned a lot. Really softened my side of things because you realize, wow, there's actually a lot of room for this other viewpoint. And we just sail into things blindly, and we just kind of push everything else off that doesn't fit our paradigm, and we don't even listen. And we will not be able to get to the bottom of truth and understand truth when we can't listen to one another and begin to understand one another, because we're all part of the body. I want to understand how my little toe works and what it's doing, so that if something's going wrong, I can help it. I don't want to just chop it off, but that's what most of the Christian body wants to do, just chop off what we don't like. But we need to start seeking to understand.
So someone shares,
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Sorry. Just when the last brother talking about numbing your senses and trying to have sort of external thing to soothe the pain of the current situation. Just before he said that, Father dropped a phrase to me. He said the danger of the hybrid. It's well enough if you're not taking any sides, but then there is a place of hybrid whereby you're indifferent, whereby you are just wanted to live on the surface. For example, when Nicodemus went to Jesus and asked about being born again, and Jesus said, if I can't talk to you about earthly things, how am I going to be able to show you about heavenly things? So there's a place of hybrid, there's a label of this, a label of that. And I completely agree with Adina about this is the season that the Father is sanctifying and washing the bride with pure water, whereby until we get to a place that our whole heart, our whole hope, our whole faith, our whole of everything is based on Him and not anything from the outside. That our eyes are cast on the things above and not on the things below. I'm not talking about being a hermit, I'm talking about living in the fire and know that the fourth man is here with me. And if He's not coming, I am not bowing down to what I know to be. So it is not about taking side, it's about seeking that narrow place in the Father that I am so convinced that you are in charge. I'm so convinced that you are God. And really another thing is that through this, Father has been talking to me about the collective traumatization of the earth, of people and us as a nation and as people. The pandemic, the riots and then the racism and then election and waves after wave after wave, their contraction of the birth, their contraction, their labor pain. And this too is a labor pain that is birthing this new birth, this new being that is called perfection. It is not a battle. It's a model of spiritual warfare. It's sufficient for a purpose, but it's not. It does not encompass what is to come, which is perfection. It is not a warfare. It is the releasing of the perfect, the releasing of perfection. Paul said, when I was a child, I say things like a child, behave like a child, but when I am fully grown, mature, perfect, then I see Him face to face. So it is a season of birthing the perfection, the being of perfection in each of us, and in the earth and in the nations. And this is why it's so painful, because it is real labor pain. This is the Father is birthing perfection.
Yes. So good. Thank you. All right, Tom?
Thank you.
Election, occurred or like a week before or 4 days before, I was already thinking, okay, so what am I going to, how am I going to react to whatever happens? And I just thought about that whatever happened with the election was of zero threat to my walking out my scroll. So
Good.
that it was just, so it wasn't like I was emotionally invested in the outcome, because if my focus is on the Father's intention of his heart for me to expand into all that is, that didn't really matter what the outcome was for me personally as far as my destiny in walking it out. So
So good.
Anyway,
Yeah, very true.
Luke says, exposure means it comes for even those whose hearts tell them that they are the only one right. Yes. Esther says, I just want what he wants, and what can I help and agree with him in every situation? Yes.
That's good.
She says, Father sees different than we do. Trust
Absolutely.
is required. Said, we saw him laughing and clapping in all the situation. He knows what he is doing in all of us and in the whole cosmos. Only in him we can be at rest. I saw him saying, rest in me. Then Luke says, if we can't run with a footman in the depths of the realms of what seems like opposition, how can we run with a horseman? Yes. That's so good. And then someone shares, indeed, it's not about the election.
Right.
Kathy says, we don't react, we respond with the Spirit. So, thank you.
Can I say something?
Yes.
Yeah.
This week, I realized, I think I saw it in National Geographic or so, but anyway, it was an email that said, this week the moon is in Gemini, and the picture they gave was the moon, the light of the moon right being between the twins, and I was like, oh, thank you, so that's what you are doing. You want to bring the two sides together in unity.
Yes.
And on the relationship.
Yeah.
That is so good. Thank
So,
you, Durrett.
yeah, I mean, the bottom line is our focus needs to be on the Father and on his kingdom. And when you're picking a side, I'm sorry, neither candidate is kingdom. They may be good people or whatever, but neither one is kingdom. Our government system in America and every other place in the world, none of it is kingdom. So we have to get that through our minds to understand that this is not the end all. The end all is when we're able to bring his kingdom into the earth. That's what we need to be focused on. And we are now into the age where we need to be focusing on that. And we're going to be doing some things in the next few months, gathering people together in ecclesias that are designed specifically to understand what the Father's doing and to bring his kingdom into the earth. Yeah. It's not going to be easy, and it may be actually pretty challenging in a lot of different ways, but it's the time, and we need to be moving in that direction. To me, we can't keep chasing the next sensational thing that is out there, because if it's not changing lives and we're not bringing kingdom, we're missing the mark. And you know what missing the mark is in Greek, right? Harmatia, translated into sin. When we're missing the mark, we need to be focused on what Father's doing and be doing that. That's when we're in the center of his will. And it's going to be different for each and every one of us. But each of us together should be able to come together and find the body that Father's designed for us to be in. And that's where we need to commit and work together with that body in order to help each and every one of us accomplish the goals that we're here to accomplish. Amen? Amen. Using old age word.
I'd like to share the major shift in perspective that was given to me on election day. It was actually the first assignment I was given on the earth. And, before I was claiming peace over my residence and condo and where I am and all that, just like anybody could do. But this assignment then I was told it was being expanded. And I had been given my horse, the luminaires, and weapons, And I was to go and I was assigned to Delmarva, which is Delaware, Maryland, Virginia Peninsula. It's a geographic region. And to transverse it and proclaim peace. Well, so I said, okay, let's go. So it's my first, like, real assignment. And I looked up, and there was this huge, hundreds of feet tall, big cloud that was shaped like a warrior. It was very fearsome looking, but he wasn't fearsome at me. And I sensed it was an elemental, and he was in communication with other elementals. I looked to my right, and I saw a general. He was in a different color armor from mine. His was more bronzy, goldy type. And I looked, he was like 20 feet tall with his dark brown horse. I looked behind him, there were tens of thousands of angels. And they were far in the distance, and they appeared blue and white. So here we are, flying back and forth across the seasons down. So the people that were doing that, they, little tall pointy things about 4 feet tall, they looked like arrows. They were kind of smoky black color. As the shalom vibration came down to them, it curved their arrows, and they pointed right back to the ground. And in the back of my mind, I'm watching that shalom. That's the scripture I heard as I'm watching this. And going back and forth and back and forth, and it was so incredible to see the power of love and peace proclaimed.
Yes, yes.
That's the kingdom life.
Yes.
In the area that you're assigned for that. So it was like, whoa, I had no idea that there was a literal manifestation, because these people, I could feel their frustration because they kept trying to come up with outrage and they couldn't muster it up. It kept getting squashed. And then I was like, wow, this is election day. And then that night, and I came back and I knew the angels, they were all out there taking care of things. I did what I was supposed to do, like to tell them what the assignment was, the bridges to protect and blah, 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 blah. Okay. Then it occurred to me, Delaware, oh my God, that's where the Biden castle is. And I've been flying over that thing, and I was up at that bridge just north of Wilmington, and and yeah, there was a dragon that was slayed and all that there, but still, I realized I don't know enough to come close to those kinds of powers and principalities.
Mm-hmm.
But we were up way high, except for the one dragon slave part, way high. So it was like I wasn't really that close to it, but I realized it's not over.
Yes.
But I haven't been told. And it's like I knew that other people would come forth and would know more. But
That's
it's
good.
a different kind of battle. And it's all about party.
And I think you shared something that's really important about before, but if we're using darkness to fight darkness, we're in the wrong. And we tend to, like Sheila was saying, get outraged no matter what side we're on. And that outrage is very unlikely to be God. It's our own stuff rising up. It's our own triggers getting triggered. But it's a great opportunity to say, wow, Father, okay, I'm getting triggered here. Judge me, show me what's going on so I can get this out of me, because we need to operate in love at all times. And if you're feeling anything other than love, say, Father, judge me. Show me what's triggering me and has got me in this place. Because that's just siding with the enemy. That is siding with the enemy. There's no other way to say it. You're siding with the enemy when you're choosing to engage with that spirit. You're agreeing with it. You're coming into agreement with darkness. And that's not what we need to be doing.
Father just reminded me of something about the labor pain. If any mothers here would know that when you are delivering, you work with the pain.
Yes.
You wait, you breathe, you be in rest, you be in peace, but you work with the pain. Mm-hmm. This is not about eliminating of pain. It is not about ceasing of crisis. The crises are the labor pain. They help the baby to come up. The labor pain is important, it's essential, and this is the most critical time in the sense that this baby will come and healthy and free and to fulfill the scroll that Father has appointed. So I know, we grew up and then the consumerism mindset, we want comfort in that, but this pain is good. Embrace the pain, submit to the Father, and work with the Holy Spirit. Yes.
That's good. Thank you. Appreciate that. Okay, Susan?
I would just like to share a little bit more. I think it was Sheila was talking about the arrows and all. When I was praying and just being before the Lord, before the election, and especially after, I was seeing so much chaos, raging hatred from the people across the country and even outside the country. All this chaos, and all they wanted to do was kill. They just wanted to destroy everything that was not their way. Mm-hmm. And as I ascended and I went to Father, and I spoke, I said, Father, send your love, send your peace to dissipate this. What I saw was this huge, very thick, it kind of looked like a blanket, but it was soaking wet. And it came slowly down over the country, and it just slowly came down over all this rage, hatred, destruction, evil plots, all this stuff. And the blanket just settled. And as it settled, the people could not move anymore. They just were still. And everything that was going on in them, they could not rise up and fulfill their evil plans and all this hatred and stuff. And then as I watched, all this droplets of water were coming out of this wet blanket, going into the people, saturating them bit by bit. And all that water was the liquid love of God, taking the place of the chaos as we declare it, proclaim it, see it, I was seeing it, mm-hmm. and calling it forth. Yeah. Because the things that are planned by mankind, it means it's just crazy. So Father showed me that picture, and I just called it forth and decreed it, and I continue to speak all that, and yes. The picture, and the liquid love, and the droplets, bit by bit, that all these plans, all these things they have planned, whatever happens, whatever way it goes, that it's not going to be able to manifest.
Yeah.
It's just not going to be able to happen.
Thank you, Susan. Mm-hmm. And that's one of the key principles in being the ecclesia, is that we can't govern that which we do not love. And so this is a significant challenge for us to grow in love, and you can't govern something also that you don't have relationship with. And so it's that place of not just, Father, get those guys that are doing bad things or rioting or angry or those types of things. We don't want to be the bully, and we don't want to be that demanding. We want to operate in that love, and that means having this depth of heart for those who are rioting or doing other things, is knowing the reason that they're doing that is from a deep heart of pain. That they've been deceived into doing things that they don't even know what they're doing. And so being able to move with that compassion and with love, that's the only way that we will be able to shift anything. We can legislate those things from heaven to earth, but it really comes through us, through a heart of love. And that's where the power is.
All right, well, I think we'll go ahead and begin to wrap things up here. So if anybody has anything else they'd like to share, please.
Just want to encourage you, if you're wanting more heavenly time on this issue, this Wednesday, just from a heart of love. So encourage you, that 6 p.m. Mountain Time. And we're really sorry that we missed.
And just, I'm loving what Father's doing and bringing all this together, that there's going to be a very powerful movement, very powerful thing that he's going to do. And it's not just this area. Obviously, we reach around the world, and people need to hear this message. That does not make them right. And just because we're sharing anything does not make us right. And that's why we're so open to understanding what it's important for us to operate as the body. And we can't just take a side and...
Hank Kuhneman and Kat Kerr have a you're at the edge of...
All right, well, blessings to everyone, and we look forward to having blessings to everybody. Thank you all so much. We'll see you maybe Wednesday night if you join us, or next Sunday. Blessings. Bye-bye. It's the same number right here. Zoom is a great way to join. We prefer that.